afternoon. You have just watched a really provocative 5-minute short about a topic that permeates college students and college campuses all over the country. This is A Night on Brown Street, produced by two really stellar students from Morehouse College here in Atlanta and neighboring Spelman College. My name is Add Seymour, Jr. I'm a journalist and former social media manager and writer at Morehouse College. And I've written about this topic many times with students at Morehouse College. So it's really fascinating to see two great students put something together to talk about this topic. These students are here with us now, ready to talk about how they went about putting together this production. Emani, Rashad, and Amaris plays Buford. Guys, thank you for being here. Let's get some introductions. Your Spelman and your Morehouse introduction. Amaris?
Hi, so my name is Amaris plus Buford. I am a junior documentary filmmaking major from Chicago.
And I'm Emani Rashad. I'm a graduating senior Africana Studies major from Houston, Texas.
Okay. Great to have you guys here. Let's talk about this film. Let's dive right into it. A Night on Brown Street. Tell us, where did this idea for this production come from? Have you guys ever done something like this before?
So it came from us wanting to partner with each other. We've partnered with each other on smaller videos before, but we wanted to partner with each other on something bigger. And obviously it came in the Movie Fest, which is a movie fest that travels around the country to colleges to try to bring the best out of students on each campus. So she came in with the idea to do a film. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do. So after us meeting and going through some ideas, this just came up. And because it's so personal to me, and because I know she's has experienced, or seen the experiences as well, it just felt natural.
Amaris? What about you, Amaris?
Same. I am a part of an organization at Morehouse actually called Lighthouse, and our service initiative for the year was dealing with socialistness, specifically in Atlanta. And so that's where the passion for the topic came from me personally. So I thought this was the best way to expose this issue that could, expose to my people.
Emani, you said it touched you personally. Talk about that a little bit.
Right. So I think my junior year, I dealt with shelterlessness, just couldn't afford the campus living at Morehouse, which is expensive. And I had to sit out of my car. I didn't really understand the weight of the situation at all, because I've dealt with things common to that before. So I didn't really understand the impact of it until we created this film, and we saw the response. People just DMing us on Instagram and Twitter and saying how much they can relate and how much it touched them. But yeah, it made it easy to create the film because it was something I've experienced personally.
So the idea for turning this story, this personal story, and the story that's touched you from other students, and I'm sure, Amaris, you've heard the same kind of stories as Spelman. How did this come together to become a 5-minute short film?
So you want me to walk you through the process?
Take your time.
Yeah. So me and Emani, like you said before, we partner on multiple things. I love Emani. He's like such an inspiration. And so we actually came up with the idea at Spelman. Both of us, like you said, we went through it personally, and I have watched multiple, people like fellow students in the AUC deal with the same problems that he did, as well as the people in the film. And so, we sat down, we took notes, and she's being very modest, but we really based our main character off of Emani. And so he would just tell me different experiences, and we would take notes, and that's the way the script was formed.
Okay. So how long did it take to produce this film, and where did the production take place? Talk about some of those particulars.
So we actually had, I believe, 5 days to make it. I believe something along those lines, and I had to go out of town for a trip, but it was planned beforehand. So the first 2.5 to 3 days, I actually wasn't even anywhere around. So we were trying to work remotely, wasn't really working out too well. But as soon as I got back to Atlanta, we met at Spelman, like you said, and both the script. So we had 2 days to work with, essentially. And we didn't have any talent. We didn't have too much of anything. The equipment that they gave to us wasn't much of really a help. I'm glad that we got the equipment, but it wasn't much of a help for what we wanted to do. So we really pulled together our resources. Amaris collected expert people and talent to pull into actually film, and then I with equipment and put it together. As far as locations, Amaris as well.
So we film mostly on Morehouse and in the West End. So a lot of the scenes occurred in some dorms. I'm not familiar with the names of the dorms, so I can tell you specifically. But one of the bathroom scene actually occurred in one of the Morehouse dorms. Of course, Brown Street. And then we also filmed in the college town, I think that's what it's called, the neighboring area next to Morehouse.
You know, the cost, I mean, I know there's a cost factor to it, there's an equipment factor to it. How did you guys overcome those kind of challenges?
Honestly, just using resources. So I have a lot of equipment that I kind of gathered over the years, but I didn't have everything I needed. So just reaching out to mentors and even some friends to get lights here, cable here, cable there. We kind of pull it all together, and honestly, still didn't have what we wanted, but we had to make it work because I think that's just a good tool to have, just to be able to make things work and you have everything that you necessarily feel like you need.
Yes, so my film professors always say, like, you can't pay the actors, at least feed them. So make sure to compensate in that way. And like you said, we just use our resources. Literally everything was based on our support team, which is amazing. So that's how it came about.
This was truly a grassroots effort, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So when did the production take place? And it took a few days, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took 2 days. I couldn't give you an exact date, but it was sometime when it was cold. I can tell you that for sure. We were outside shooting, and everybody was complaining about it cold. So it was sometime when it was cold. So I'm gonna say beginning of February, in January, somewhere in that time frame. But I mean, it was an emergency all around.
Look, I had a couple of questions about the film here. One, it's called A Night on Brown Street.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 24-hour look at a student's life. And to explain what Brown Street is to those who don't know, Brown Street is the main road that goes through the heart of the Morehouse campus. And it's probably one of the more popular gathering spots, not only for Morehouse students, but also for nearby Clark Atlanta University students and Spelman College students who walk through and take classes on each other's campus. But it's a 24-hour look. Goes from him waking up one morning and going through a whole day from class to social events to a date to coming home and waking up the next morning. So it's more than a night, correct?
Right.
So tell me why it's more than this. It's a day instead of a night.
So I think essentially what we're trying to do is show that a student who is dealing with shelterlessness, right? You will never know. They'll be doing the same social activities that you're doing. They'll be going to class, and they'll be dealing with these things, and you will never know. So we really wanted to show kind of a day in the life, and kind of leave the night experience as to what it was, because we really want to focus on the things that they do in the daily time. Like even in the scene where you have this friend down the street and greeting him, and saying, "Are you okay?" He had just found out that he couldn't pick school, and he just sheds it off in a second and splits personalities and acts like everything's okay. And we really want to show that aspect because that's the reality of it. You will never know that this is this person's life. And yeah, that's my take on it.
Amaris, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, like we wanted to just take a regular day in a college life student and tweak it. So how can we, because like Emani said, you don't know what someone deals with. And I feel like when we think of topics as in homelessness, shelterlessness, we put a certain person in that category. So we automatically think, we try to create our own, a stereotype, for lack of better words. And we really wanted to break the stereotype and show that anyone can go through this.
Gotcha.
The name also stemmed from the event that Amaris spoke to that I witnessed my sophomore year. My first actual documentary was on this event that was on Los Campus that was titled "A Night on Brown Street," where students basically simulated shelterlessness and homelessness on Brown Street and in the parking lots on Los Campus. So the name, of course, stemmed from that as well, just to kind of go to that those stereotypes that you talked about.
You know, there were a couple of things I also noticed. A lot of it, when we talk about A Night on Brown Street, a lot of the film was kind of dark. But I saw light come at really interesting spaces. I saw a light when he was in the classroom. You know, he was like a little sleep. I saw a light when he was on campus speaking to somebody who asked him how he was doing. Mm-hmm. I saw a light when he was speaking with the young lady. And I saw a light when he heard his good news. Mm-hmm. Those 4 points, I saw a specific light. Was that something that you guys planned on doing, or it just kind of came out that way?
You can talk about
it. A lot of the scenes that we had, it was raining that day, for most of the day. The second day of shooting. And the first day, it kind of came that way, but I also noticed it while we were shooting. Mm-hmm. To the extent in which at the end, when we did shoot the young lady in the fire on the gate, I made sure that we shine a light through the window so that we can get some more light, because I did notice that it seemed like every positive moment in the script there was light. I don't think it was something that we scripted in. I can't say it was like some genius that we had scripting that in, but it definitely came out well. And I noticed it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Morris?
Yeah, so the whole entire production, it was like winter, cold, freezing. But it worked so well with the film because we wanted it to be sad, but not too sad. Like still have the relief of humor. And so those points where it is the light, that's when I feel like are some of also the funniest moments in the film as well. And that's when he gets the best news. And that's when he's around love also.
Was there particular points in the film where you guys were really touched, something really inside of you said, oh man, this is me, or this really touches me? And if it is, what were those points?
It always, whenever I work on a production, the first scene always sticks me. Like that's when I'm in. Like that's when it's like all this hard work in post production, like or pre-production, is worth it. So when we were shooting him, when he first woke up, the first thing, and like Emani did this really cool shot where he like came in through the sunroof of a car, and we were watching it, like just rewatching, and I was like, oh yeah, like this is great. I love it already. Like, and John Jack, who was the main actor, he never acted before, and I was like, you're a natural. Like this, you made me believe this whole story. That one scene.
Well,
of course, this is again just writing the script, helping to write the script, and directing this. It was my personal story, so it was easy for me to show him like exactly John Jack, exactly what mannerisms to have. And so, each part touched me. You know, these are direct stories. But I think it happens twice in the film, I believe, maybe even more. But I guess it's almost like just putting in the front that everything's okay, and trying to live your life while dealing with this at night. Because the concern of where you're going to sleep and how you're going to sleep, and if it's going to be too cold tonight in the car, like those concerns are real. So I think it all pretty much touched me.
Mm-hmm.
It really touched me on how the student tried to live this normal life. Mm-hmm. Even though he lived this very abnormal life, and how he, when he went home, or even just got dressed every morning. The guy said, I didn't know you lived here. It looked like he just lived there. So striving to live a normal life, going out to a party like anybody else and being in class like anybody else. I thought that was a really cool way of showing that this man's life is really one that we might see every day and don't know that we see every day, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a balance. And even if it's not directly like shelter weakness, even if it's a mental issue of problem that someone has, I think it's important for us to understand that people people deal with things internally that they may not display, and it's important to treat everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of what their physical stature is, their physical display is. So,
Emani, did you have a conversation with the lead actor to talk about your story and how he should approach it as an actor? And Amaris, you said he was a first-time actor. Did you have a conversation so he can understand and feel what he was portraying?
yes. So Jack was amazing from the rip. He was just so willing to wait on us while we were setting up cameras, and we're not paying him. You know what I mean? This is a student-led film, so he was such a big guy to have played this role in my first feature film. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, those conversations happened. I let him know I feel pretty transparent that this is something that happened to me, and just let him know, like I said earlier, the mannerisms to really have when you're dealing with your situation. How waking up feels. You know what I mean? How does this really feel? How it feels to wake up in your car and realize, oh, I'm in the situation. But he really did. Compared to him, he really took it and swung it in the direction that I couldn't have done as far as the actors.
You guys talked about the talent, the actors, and how you basically found them. How did you find all of these folks, and how did all of them in total latch on to the story or feel the story?
Sorry.
Yes, I was gonna say. So I was the producer in the film, so I was behind getting the cast. I sent a text and asked for favors from my Morehouse brothers. One is in the, I think he's in the Simpsons film, at Morehouse, and so I was like, look, I have a film, I have a script, I need you tomorrow, can you come? And so he ended up gathering 3 other men, and then I also reached out to a woman at Clark, student at Clark. Her name's Kiara. She's the love interest in the film. And so what we did was, after me and Emani finalized our script, we literally sent it out that night and was like, okay, we kind of need you guys to know these lines by tomorrow, because that's when we're starting to shoot at 7 a.m. And for people who are actors, they were very willing and positive and optimistic about everything, which is like, we owe them so much. But yeah, the cast it was built in favors. None of them have acted before, like I said, but they came through. They did an amazing job.
They truly did come through, because it was very interesting to watch. What was the size of the crew, and have they had much experience?
Again?
What was the size of the crew, and did they have much experience?
Oh, yeah. So it was me and Amaris, of course. There's Cesar. He was also a senior at Morehouse now. There's also Lauren. She is a senior student. And then Kiara also doubled as kind of actor slash director's assistant, really. And then we also had like a lot of extras. I mean, that's the crew, but our extras were amazing too. So even in the party thing, there was actually only about, I'll say like 8 people there. So we had like different locations where it looked like a lot of people. And then of course, I've been some crowd noise, so it sounds like it's a lot of people in the room. But yeah, we had a very small crew, but they're very consistent and diligent. They worked, they dealt with attitudes. They stuck to the code in the rain. So we're very thankful to them. We're so upset that we didn't put credits at the end, but we had to meet a time constraint for the festival. But yeah, their participation is pretty noted.
When it ended and you looked at it, you guys both looked at it, what was your feelings about what you came up with and what it turned out to be? Were you happy with it? Is it something you want to do differently, or you're happy, just totally happy with what you've done?
So I always feel like if you don't hate your project when you're done, then it wasn't good enough. We were watching the footage so much. It was like, I didn't realize, I guess, how good it actually was until it played at the film festival. And like, I sat in the crowd. It was about over, I want to say, 800 people at the screening. But to see their reaction to the film as we watched it, I was like, oh wow, this is like this is really good. And so that's when it clicked, like, okay, we kind of did something. But initially when I watched it, I was like, oh, we need to fix this, we could have fixed that. Like, oh, like we were really nitpicking, but yeah.
I hated the film the whole way through. I hated it when I was shooting it. I didn't like it when we got to editing. We had to edit each section as we went because we were so pushed on time. So during the editing, I could not stand what I was seeing. Like, but I love the story.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like the camera work was not like I didn't achieve my I never do. Like I said, you're never truly happy with everything. But I felt like I could have did a better job. And it wasn't until the screening, until we saw other films, and then saw our film. Not saying that any other films were worse as far as the writing was, but not everybody was just blessed, I guess, with the crew that we had to be able to put out a certain image. So, and then the reactions in the crowd, like we got the top reactions. It was nice to see that and feel that energy. So really, the response made me feel better about it, and also made me feel good to know that I can do something way better than that, and they're liking this. So I know that what I mean. The potential is there. But even in submitting to this film festival, I didn't make any edits because I made edits, but I didn't turn in the edited version because I felt like it's almost a capture of what we created in a short time. And I think I'd rather stay that way than for us to manipulate it later on.
So that kind of leads into my next question. What lessons do you think you learned from this process? Mara?
I learned that preparation, everything is done before production happens. So like plan. The more time you put into planning the film and production and preparing for it, the better like the shoot day will become. So because we had so much we had not so much, we had 2 days. It was very hard to really plan out everything, but I think we did a good job for the amount of time we had. We made sure to do a schedule, a shooting schedule, when we're going to eat lunch, when we're going to edit. And so that way, that's how we were able to even accomplish finishing it in general. But like I said, I would put in my next films, I would definitely plan way ahead of time. So by the time we shoot, it's easy.
I also think the production stance on this film kind of helped me to see, because I knew like get the forms, get this. I knew that side of production, but I didn't know how the practice worked, actually implementing those things and how it all worked together. So leaving ample amount of time for us to film, even if we know for a fact we're going to get the shot within that time, like leaving that time, it really helped us in the long run because we were able to move comfortably and not in such a rush, even though we only had 24 hours to 48 hours to actually shoot. That and just what I talked about as far as not being happy with what you're shooting and what you have. I just learned that was a thing. I mean, I've felt that way before, but I've never been so limited to time so where I couldn't go back and get the shot again and actually be happy with the shot. So just understanding that you're never really happy and having to deal with that, that was a big lesson for me.
What advice would you give other young student filmmakers who want to take on this kind of project?
I would say just do it. I think a lot of times our fear can stop us or hinder us from just going out and shooting. But me and Emani, like, we didn't plan this. We literally texted about it. Okay, and we did it like within a matter of a week. It wasn't a lot of times, like I said, like our doubts and fears. And then, it's not a lot of Black women in filmmaking. I'll say that a lot of people know about. So that was a big thing too, because like your mind and naysayers could get like in your head and you'll be like, well, is this really a promising career? Can I really do this? But I'll say just do it. Like, your story matters. The stories that you will tell matter. And the world deserves to hear your voice.
Yeah, I would say that's really good. That's impactful. But I would say use your resources. If you're especially if you're a college student, you don't get to film in locations for free in the real world. So like being able to use dorms, being able to use even streets, this all these locations that we were able to access, we got the pass because we were college students, or because we are college students. So I would say if you're in college and you're looking to do this, use your resources, use your professors who have this camera, use your friends who have this light, use your connections to get your cast. You know, people don't mind doing stuff for free when you're in college because you are in college, and it's a nice support system that you have. So be aware of that and use that to your full advantage.
So what's next for you guys? This has been successful. It's been a lot of fun. The folks really like what you did. What's next for you guys?
Emani, you can go first.
So I'm a practicing docu-filmmaker. So this was a feature film, and it was my first time doing a feature film. I did enjoy it. I will try it again. But I think my heart right now is with docu-film telling because I get to tell the stories of people, and that's like my thing. So right now I'm working on a shelterless documentary based here in Atlanta. So I've been running around doing that. I've gotten a lot better in the last couple of months. So I'm looking forward to putting that out sometime soon.
So yeah, right now I'm currently focusing on my schoolwork and getting back in the habit of school. I feel like I've been out for 6 months plus, but most of my classes are around film, and so I'm just practicing different elements of different mediums, I'll say. So right now I'm really focusing on photography and more so like animation, but I do want to produce another film by the summer. But right now I'm just focusing on my craft and perfecting it before doing something else.
And I was going to ask, what do you plan on doing after graduation? I know it's coming up really quick for you, Emani, and I guess same for you, Amaris.
So I've actually already, I've already picked up a full-time job. So I'm working at a Black newspaper as a full-time multimedia journalist. While still in school, after graduation, I plan to take on more responsibility in the freelance world on side of that. So just really getting better at the craft until I can build enough enthusiasm to take myself to film school. That's the plan right now.
Yeah, so my plans for after graduation, I'm definitely going to film school right after I graduate. And then my plan is to start as a PA and then work my way up to a producer, an executive producer, and so forth. So yes, that's the plan for me.
All right, before we wrap this up, any parting words to the folks who just watched this really, really great film and this really provocative piece for both of you?
I would like to just follow the ending message, which was be the change. This is not a solo story. This is something that happens very frequently, especially as students at colleges with the cap and the amount that Morehouse does. So be aware of that and be that change. If you can, if you're an alum, put some money aside and some budget for students who battle shelterlessness, because I think that's something that we shouldn't tolerate, especially in the Black community. So just be the change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, likewise. And I just wanted to say thank you for watching our film, enjoying our film, interacting with it. It's always a pleasure to see, someone interact with your art, especially after you put so much of your story and your time and your vulnerability into it. So just a simple thank you. And like Emani said, be the change.
Emani, Rashad, Amaris, Buford, thank you guys for joining us. We really enjoyed this great production. A Night on Brown Street. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a 5-minute short. Make sure you get a chance to look at it again. Again, my name is Add Seymour. Enjoy yourselves at the Morehouse College Human Rights Film Festival.